guys, welcome to Stretch the Sketch. I know it's been forever since I've done one, right? So I'm going to use those photos of my husband and I. I'm using this very old, I think it's 2017 Felicity Jane Kate kit. I'm doing just a quick show you what it looks like. I do pop in the sketch here in a minute. And my layout ends up looking nothing like the sketch. This layout took me forever. It literally took me 56 minutes to put together. It's a 9 by 12, and I think what took me so long is I kept trying to include elements from the sketch and then not liking them and going a different direction. So the first thing I did is I had to even though I'm trying to kill this kit, I had to gut this floral paper. It was just too pretty for me to leave solid. Um, and I cut it in the same direction twice, and, all those things that you never do when you're not filming a video, but you do when you are filming a video. So the original sketch called for I think it was 3 by 3 photos. I did not go with 3. I thought at the size I wanted to leave these photos, it would have been, for me, not enough space on the edges. So I kept my plan was to keep the 2 on the right. My photos are 3 by 3. And I was going to keep them, I was going to keep them next to each other like it showed in the sketch, but I did not like it. I usually am very linear. I like things linear, but I don't know, they were just too square. So I end up putting them, one square and one on an angle. And honestly, that's where then my whole brain went off. Like I said, it took me an hour, and even speeding this up 3 times and cutting out everything I could that I thought was irrelevant. You poor people are still going to have to watch me for almost 17 minutes fuss with this layout. But here I am, I'm inking my edges. This is Black Soot from Tim Holtz. I show you the 2 colors I use in a minute. The other one that matched the closest was Victorian Velvet. I used that on the edges of my black and white photos. The white edges they didn't do it for me. They needed a little something, and I obviously didn't want them to be all black. These are photos of my husband and I on 4th of July wearing our tie-dye t-shirts. We had recently done that as a family project. My parents' birthdays are they're 10 days apart, so they each got a tie-dye t-shirt for their birthday that my kids had made. My father's birthday is the 4th of July, so they made him one that looks like a firecracker. It's blue on the top and red on the bottom, but the way you folded it was pretty cool. And they made my mom a chevron one. But here's my husband. While we did theirs, we figured why waste the dye, and we made ourselves ones as well. But obviously, tie-dye t-shirts did not go with the lovely black floral, so I changed these into black and white. We did go see my dad for his birthday, and my journaling talks about it being our first, foray out of the house since quarantine started back in March. Other than a trip to the drive-through or an outdoor park, I don't think we'd been together anywhere since March. We didn't get to go out for his birthday. We didn't get to go out for our anniversary. But I know a lot of you guys are dealing with the same thing, so it helps to know it's not just us. I do try to use this notebook punch that I have, because there was a notebook piece of paper in the sketch. I will warn you, it doesn't make it. I try to use that punch, but The problem for me is it does not just punch the edge. It cuts out this tiny, just little like notebook strip. And I don't think I've ever really used it on a layout. Um, because it doesn't do what I thought it did when I bought the punch. And that's probably my own fault. But I'm going to use that black and um, clear vellum as the block, the big block behind my photos. There is a big block in the sketch. Here I'm going to pull up the sketch here so I can peruse it while we chat. There is 3 block layers under the photo in the sketch, but I only end up with 1. I wanted to distress the edges of these vellum. I'd never done that before. And quite honestly, it doesn't work well. So I just end up cutting that piece off. There are 2 circles in the sketch. They are larger and in different places, but I used my 1.5-inch circle punch and do put 2 circles on the sketch. And anybody, if you've been following me for a while, or you know my scrapping style from my blog or from in-person meetings, circles are not my jam. I have switched assigned layouts with people just to get away from having to do circles or triangles. I'm not a real big triangle fan. But I did challenge myself to include several on this layout since there were circles in the sketch. There you'll see the sketch does have something above the photos, so I did put that branding strip up there. I love how Felicity Jane's papers, their branding strips are fully usable. Like some manufacturers do have little pieces on their branding strips, but I love that theirs gives you the whole 12 by 12. Oh, excuse me. I think I'm so sleepy today because it is dark and gray here. I tried to get the kids to the pool this morning before the weather turned, but we were only there about 20 minutes before it started thundering, so home we came, and now it's just dark and dreary. And since I'm back in our basement, even though there are 2, 4, 6 windows down here, and the door has a window, since the windows are ground level and it's dark, it's fairly dark out here, so I'm just a tad sleepy. um, so yep, inking these edges too. I have really taken to doing that. I've always done it a little bit, but I seem to do it on every layout now because for me it makes the layers stand out from each other just that little bit more. You know, nothing major, but it gives them each just a little bit of definition. So again, I'm trying to put something up above that right-hand photo. I do end up cutting part of this out. I tried to fussy cut those wonky scallops, and then it just wasn't thick enough to put behind my photo or, you know, up at the top there, and I didn't like the way it looked, so it felt to me almost like elegant layout and kid wonky scallops, so off they went. But I am going to start adhering things down, deciding where I want them permanently. But then I am going to have to fuss with my embellishments and my title. I do, believe it or not, are you ready? I actually do stamp on this layout. No, I do. I wanted to use that one. I forget what it even said. What did it say? Keeping things simple. And I thought that was really appropriate since Obviously, our 4th of July celebration this year and my father's birthday was much more simple than normal, but I couldn't find the right place to tuck it in. I do end up losing the stamp at some point and then finding it again, but it just didn't fit anywhere I wanted to put it. So I'm going through here. I do keep 2 of these. They're technically for photos, to hold photos. I have like, I don't know, I think there was 16 and they all go in this large case, but I don't use them for photos. I keep all of my Felicity Jane extras when I finish a kit in there. Since all the colors coordinate with each other, I can go back and pull bits and pieces. And then the rest of them I use for colored embellishments. Like when I'm done with a kit, but I think I will still use those embellishments, I'll sort them by color. The sketch does have a frame on the left-hand side, kind of peeking out. So I used the one I had, I cut it in half and used a piece on either side. I do end up looking for, I have a piece of gold glitter paper that I cut hearts out of that I wanted to use for this sketch because I have a heart punch that has 3 different size hearts on it. I could not find it. Could not for the life of me find it. And I just saw it the other day while I was moving things around down here and cleaning up. Cannot find it. I'm really hoping that it didn't get tossed in the cleanup because I also had little hands helping. But there are some gold hearts on the epoxy stickers from Felicity Jane, but they are solid, and I wanted something that had some texture to it. That's why I wanted my particular glitter paper, but it is what it is. So I have this love from, I don't even know where it's from, and I'm just going to, put it in there. It's going to say Love Life. I really should have added an of. I have small Felicity Jane letters, and I might go back and add that. Love, well, then I'd have to add my. I'll have to think about that. I might go back and add it. So here you're going to see I'm actually going to pull out my Memento ink and stamp on the layout. Just a few tiny little things. I did test the heart that I used on just a piece of paper that was nearby. It looked great. I put it on, you'll see, I'll put it on the tag in the right hand corner. Did not like it. See, there's that heart. That is actually just a stamp set. I think I got it off, oh, what's the name of it? AliExpress, when I first found them years ago. I haven't purchased from them in forever because, honestly, they're cheap for a reason. They don't stamp nicely. But I was looking for a certain something, and that was the only place I had found that certain something. But I also found out, and I guess I should have known this ahead of time, but I found out a lot of the designs that they use are stolen. And I don't know why that didn't cross my mind to begin with about why they're so cheap. But so that makes me pause before I, purchase from them any longer. But I did find these Felicity Jane little gold and black and white hearts from one of their previous kits. So I did add one of those eventually. But everything's pretty well where it's going to be. I'm going to add some final things. I had a hard time deciding what was going in that corner. The typewriter was kind of cute, but it was too dark. But the last things I'm going to add, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, are my journaling. I'm going to draw some lines with a pencil to attempt to keep them straight. because I will write on a hill if I just hand write without any kind of guidance. And then I'm also going to pull out my Nuvo drops and add those in the metallic mustard gold as well as black. It's ebony black, and they're the crystal drops. And then add some Heidi Swap Color Shine in the gold that I'm hoarding, what I have left of that. But be sure to go down in the description box below. I'll have links to some of these products as well as links to all the other ladies who are participating this month in the Stretch the Sketch. Be sure to check their layouts out. Leave them a comment, give them a thumbs up. I'm so happy to be back with them and back to creating content on a more regular basis. I'm glad you're here with me. Oh, see my pretty new blue glitter? Anybody wants a cup with that glitter? Holler. I love it. I'm dying to use it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm glad to be back again talking with you. And I hope this will be, again, a more regular thing on my channel. And we will see you soon.